at the Big A. And from Oceanport, New Jersey, we'll have races 3 and 4 to come. Good to see you. Greg Wolf, New York Racing Association handicapper, Andy Serling, this guy, and Acacia Clement. Good to have this
confusion.
Good to have the trio up here on the desk. 2 races from here in New York, 2 from Jersey. We'll get to Paul LaDuca in just a little bit, but good to see you both.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today, and it's a really fun card. I mean, there's a heavy favorite in here, but there are 4 races after we're off the air, and stick around and play because there's some fun races today and some nice turf racing.
Yeah, odds-on favorite coming up in this 4th race, Mr. Papagiorgio. Was that last race for real? Is this the horse we're going to see again today?
Well, I mean, he finished second behind Top Gun Rocket, who came back to win again with an 83 Beyer speed figure. So I think it kind of validated that. But I think the more you look at this field, it's not just that last race for Mr. Papagiorgio. It's what he's facing today. It's hard to really feel strongly and like anybody else.
I mean, I think if you want to play against him, you have to, for whatever reason, and we don't have one, say, I don't think he's going to run his race today, because if he runs the first race he had when Rick Dutrow had him, he runs his last race, he's going to win this race, and he's going to win fairly easily. He's a legit favorite.
He is 3-5 on the board right now. Let's take a look at what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. 2 from here in New York, races 4 and 5. We're going to kick off the pick 6 in this next race coming up, this 50,000 starter allowance, where we will see Mr. Papagiorgio, that odds-on favorite. Fast and Firm in New York, and then races 3 and 4 from Monmouth. They are fast and firm. That 3rd race on the turf at a mile and 16th made special weight. We'll kick off our action from Oceanport, New Jersey. Play it all right there at NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. The offer when you punch in that code at sign-up bonus 200. Again, at NYRABets.com. So race 4, start of the pick 6 if you want to play it through NYRA Bets. 1 turn mile, $50,000 starter allowance race. And I would think Mr. Papagiorgio is going to be probably a single for many playing the pick 6 today.
Yeah, no, he's the guy who knows if he should happen to get beaten, it'll blow that pick 6 up and maybe blow it up completely.
Here's our post parade. We will start with a horse who was 10 1/4 lengths behind Mr. Papagiorgio when they met May 23rd, Ragazzo Diabolico.
And he was actually coming off a very good effort in his prior start. I think it sort of puts Mr. Papagiorgio's race into perspective. He ran okay, and he got beaten by 11 lengths.
Lane Luzzy back aboard. So here's the odds-on favorite for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn with Joel Rosario.
He's a very short price, but he's very much the horse to beat. Was flattered when Top Gun Rocket came back to win again. And even if he runs some of those previous races, as Andy mentioned, he's the horse to beat.
Holton won a race he was supposed to win last start.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the positive for him is he's off the claim for Rick Dutrow. So if you think he can move forward, perhaps he could upset his stablemate.
Big Gain just went by. He's won 2 in a row.
He ran well last time, off the claim for Jimmy Ryerson, but this is a different ball game.
And then maybe the speed of the speed outside here?
Yeah, he's getting back on the dirt. Omi Island, I think, far and away his preferred surface, given that last effort. And we'll see what he can do. He does have some sprint speed to bring to the party.
2 minutes to post. 4th race. Again, it kicks off to pick 6. Let's check in with Maggie Wolfendale. Does this horse look the part of an odds-on favorite, Maggie?
Not really, to be quite honest, Greg. He's a horse that, as this is his 9th career start, and all of them exclusively here on the NYRA circuit, I've never covered any of his races. I don't have any notes on him. So what I'm observing from him is that he is a little bit, on the smaller side, but athletic enough, a little bit squirrely, a little bit goofy kind of in the paddock, lacks some focus. And I'm sure Acacia has notes on him. She can maybe clarify if this is kind of normal for him. Joel Rosario staying with the pony. I think that's probably a really good idea. It looks as though he's fairly calm out there on the track with his partner. He just doesn't wow me at a really short price, where you're also taking him kind of just on one race. And to be fair, his stablemate Holton in here, he's one that I do know very well, having been claimed from my husband. And Tom Morley, that guy, had always said to me, he's a horse that really likes to find trouble, to make him feel like he's running off with his riders. So it's kind of, odd that they reach out and they get Alvarado, who's fantastic, but I always feel like maybe a horse like this, it helps to know them a little bit more, and we'll see what kind of trip Junior pulls with him. But he gave him a very nice warm-up. He's moving beautifully. He is coming off a bit of a layoff in which he looks really fit, but he also got quite hot in the paddock. It's a summer day, but it's not humid at all, and none of the other horses were as lathered as he is. But then again, that is something that Holton will do. But I always want to point it out when horses are coming off layoffs. The horse, honestly, that looked best, and I'm hoping that what you guys said rings true here, is hopefully Omi Island is the speed for Dave Duggan. I know he's yet to run as fast as the aforementioned Dutrow duo, but he just looks fantastic. And I'm hoping that Luis Rivera finds his speed from that outside post position. Just looks as though he's doing exquisitely. Best I've seen him appear prior to a start. Love the way he was moving out there, loved his warm-up. So I'm going to take a swing with him, Greg, to possibly upset the favorite at 8-1.
And there's David Duggan, trainer of Omi Island, with that outside pace. Luis Rivera Jr. will ride for him 8-1 right now.
Yeah, it's funny, while Maggie was talking before, she was talking about that and the speed, and Acacia and I were talking about, I don't think this horse is faster than Ragazzo Diabolico and Mr. Papa Giorgio, and I wonder a little bit if the fact that he's been racing in longer races, Acacia, might dull the speed he once had a little bit.
I think it's a very good point because he did have some of that sprint speed. But one thing I will say is that his races on the dirt have been far better recently. And even if you go 3 back, I think he ran okay. He's a horse that I think can try to run off a little bit. So maybe dulling the speed is not a bad thing.
And he certainly shouldn't be a bigger price than Big
Yes.
Gain, in my opinion.
Big Gain, the 5, who's won 2 in a row, but against considerably softer company. 1-2 favorite. Mr. Papa Giorgio, the 2. Let's go to Chris Griffin to start the pick 6.
And they're off. Broken an even line, and Big Gain is showing early speed in between horses. Here comes Mr. Papa Giorgio at the rail. Ragazzo Diabolico now takes the lead. Ragazzo Diabolico is now up by a half length. To the outside here, patiently ridden, Joel Rosario and Mr. Papa Giorgio is going to let the leader press on as they come out of the chute. Just to behind them, moving forward is Big Gain. Christopher Elliott trying to squeeze through that spot. Is in a tight spot there, is now back to 4th. Center of the racetrack is Omi Island, tightly bunched field with Holton being the trailer. 23.44 for the opening quarter mile. It's still Ragazzo Diabolico in front. Tight hold here on Mr. Papa Giorgio towards the outside as a clear second. Big Gain is more settled now, is at the rail. Omi Island has been 3 wide throughout. And Holton is at the back end of the group as they've got less than a half mile to go. 46.73 for a half mile time. Ragazzo Diabolico is in front. When will Joel Rosario ask Mr. Papa Giorgio? He's right there within a neck of the leader. Is ready to pounce, just a stalking presence towards the outside. Here comes Holton, is splitting rivals at the rail. Big Gain is all in, and out wider Omi Island starts to lose some ground. Mr. Papa Giorgio has been traveling well throughout, now encouraged to finish the job, and Mr. Papa Giorgio tries to splint clear. But here comes Holton down the center of the racetrack, and Holton is catching Mr. Papa Giorgio with every stride. Inside the final furlong, Mr. Papa Giorgio now extends the margin one more time. Mr. Papa Giorgio and Holton, these two down the line. Mr. Papa Giorgio wins it over Holton. Then a tight photo. Big Gain to the outside of Ragazzo Diabolico in 1 minute 35.72 seconds.
Well, the recently claimed stablemate gave the big favorite his toughest test in here. In the end, Mr. Papa Giorgio too good, though, and picks up his 2nd career win with Joel Rosario aboard. 2nd
win in the card for owner Michael Dubb as well. And Rick Dutrow, though, Keisha, did not have to sweat this one out.
No, he felt pretty good about the way this race was playing out. But Mr. Papa Giorgio digging in, and he kind of validated that last performance and what we've seen from him. Said a good trip. It was a good ride by Joel Rosario. Rode him like the best horse in the race, which he was, and able to hold off his stablemate in the stretch.
I think it's interesting to watch Junior Alvarado, and in my opinion, Junior has been one of the best riders in New York for many years. He could just at times be a little inconsistent, as anybody can be, to be fair, but you see the confidence he's riding with now, and he's having really just such a great year, and being on a horse like Sovereignty and has really sort of elevated, I think, his confidence. Not that he should ever have had an issue with confidence.
Horse, I think we all agree, had he lined up in the Preakness, would he have been a Triple Crown winner?
You know,
maybe we don't agree.
No, I don't have I think he would have been, because I think he's better, as considering the trouble journalism had.
Yeah.
You know, assuming you put Sovereignty into Preakness and journalism gets the trip he gets, he's not going to beat him. You know, I want to see them have some more race together because, well, Sovereignty's the better horse now. I'm not convinced he's that much better.
I still think that Journalism is a very good horse, and he's one I'm a big fan of as well. But it's been interesting to watch just the progression of Sovereignty. You know, we saw it before the Kentucky Derby, the way that he was training more forwardly, the way that he just seemed to expand and blow up, even going towards the Belmont in the way that he's kind of really filled into himself. He's a horse that's continuing to improve. So I do wonder, you know, where that improvement would have lined up at that stage of the game and what it might be later in the year as well.
I'll tell you one thing I'm more convinced of, Greg. There were many years where journalism would have been a Triple Crown winner.
Yes.
Because the 3 performances that he put in, 2 losing efforts and a winning effort, were all good enough to win a lot of derbies and Belmonts that we've seen over the last 10 to 20 years.
Hopefully we get to see him again battle it out this summer at Saratoga. 2-3-5-1 in this fourth to start the pick 6. Very formful beginning. Odds-on favorite, Mr. Papa Giorgio with the victory. Dutrow Barn, Joel Rosario, owned by Michael Dubb. Prices when we come back. We'll set up the first leg of the late pick 5 and check it in Monmouth right after this.
The Best 2-Year-Old by legendary sire Quality Road.
Hit back, $1.5 million.
Very, very impressive debut. Cantering home. Could not have been more impressive.
Coast to coast in the American Pharaoh. He's the real deal.
Undefeated and unchallenged at 2.
He's just too good. He wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Corniche.
Corniche.
Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage on this Friday afternoon. Mr. Papa Giorgio back in the winner's circle for the Rick Dutrow Jr. barn with Joel Rosario as an odds-on favorite to start the pick 6.
I don't know if he won like an odds-on favorite should, Acacia, but it might have been a lot because Holton ran as well as he did.
He did, and Holton was first off the claim for Rick Dutrow as well. So He runs 1-2 and able to hold off his stablemate. It's funny what Maggie was saying about not having any notes on this horse. I've actually only seen him once, so I don't know who's been covering his races, but he's a horse that, no, he doesn't really grab your attention, but he certainly, I think, found the right group to get the win today.
Program brought to you, by the way, in part by Hillendale at Alapa. One more look at the winning move. And yeah, maybe not as big a margin as you'd like to see from an odds-on favorite, but gets the job done.
Yeah, I mean, this is for Joel Rosario. This is riding extremely hard.
Yes,
You know, you don't see him go to the crop that often, to be honest. He's a rider that uses his hands the most. I think he always had this horse at bay, but it was fairly close.
He made it a little exciting in the stretch.
I was very excited. I can't speak for the others.
$3.20, Mr. Papa Giorgio. The Dutrow Exacta. Not going to get rich off it.
No, but I actually don't think it paid that badly, all things considered.
Mile and an eighth here in the fifth in this New York bred allowance optional claiming field. And talk about an evenly matched group.
Wow.
Now that's a wide open board.
3-1, 5-1 separates everybody right now.
Right, but I'm looking at doubles, and believe it or not, the 2 is a relatively strong favorite over the 1, and they've separated themselves from the others in the doubles, and the 2 is a huge favorite in the big threes.
We'll talk more about it when we come back. Mile and an eighth to start off the late pick 5 sequence on the Friday card. Look ahead to the weekend as well. This guy has been good getting on the grass for Carlos Martin, the speedy friend of the devil, lining up in the New York Stallion Series spectacular bid division, trying to remain perfect on the lawn. We'll have a preview when we come back.
And they're off at the Naira Bent Haskell.
In the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
Dornoch setting up moderate pace, 3/4 of a length ahead.
And the field turns for home.
They're at it again. The 2 Belmont first and second place finishers.
Mind frame on the outside. It's coming after Dornoch.
Dornoch wins the Haskell.
It will be Dornoch to win the Belmont Stake.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
A dynasty in motion, reshaping the sport's greatest tradition, channeling the legends of his line and surpassing them. 4 of the last 6 Derby winners carry his genes. A Golden Son, a Horse of the Year. Another chapter written beneath those iconic spires. Derby dreams fulfilled for the titans of our industry. From authentic to sovereignty, a legacy both real and supreme. Into mischief.
Saratoga season passes are on sale now and include free admission to the special July 4th Racing Festival. Enjoy 4 additional days of Saratoga for the same price as last year. Secure your season pass for just about $2 per day at Naira.com/Saratoga. Join America's Day at the Races for the special July 4th Racing Festival at Saratoga Racecourse. 4 days of great racing as a prelude to Saratoga's summer meet.
Action kicks off Thursday, July 3rd, 1 Eastern.
Good to have you with us on our Friday coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, making the sport easier to follow. Explore stories, betting tips, race day insights at americasbestracing.net. Our ABR race of the week. It is coming up tomorrow. New York Stallion Stakes, spectacular bid division. And I know one of us found this horse out before he had ever won on grass and sort of led everyone on to how good this horse may be. Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Friend of the devil, 4 to 5 now, the value's gone.
I mean,
he is quick.
Yeah, he may be the best horse I've ever seen with a Grateful Dead song name. And his owner, Mark Holliday, Blue Devil Racing, who chairman here at Naira, is a big Dead fan and has a lot of horses named after Dead songs. This guy is fast
Yeah.
and is very dangerous and is way the horse to beat.
It's such an interesting comparison of his turf races versus dirt races. You know, some horses clearly move up on turf or one surface or the other. He's a horse that does no running on the dirt and is dazzling on the turf. He's been so impressive in his 2 turf races thus far. I thought off the layoff and what he did in that allowance race last time out was really impressive.
I am very interested to see what Soon to Be King does in the turf. A horse that George Weaver entered to run on the turf in his second career start and has plenty of pedigree. But he better be a better turf horse than dirt horse, and he's a good dirt horse to beat this horse, because this horse is, man, this is a big race.
Yeah, good luck. This horse has already proven on the grass. Don't be too concerned as well about his stablemate who has speed outside. Carlos Martin has said they want to try and teach him to rake tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go with Friend of the Devil.
I just don't think he's quick enough.
I don't think he could either. I really don't think he could go with him unless there's an all-out drive.
I agree.
Right.
To go as fast as Friend of the Devil did off the bench and still finish, that was really impressive.
Nice. He's a good one.
Yeah.
Now, this is coming up tomorrow, race 6 on our Saturday card. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. More ahead. Race 5. Again, we'll start the late pick 5, Belmont of the Big A, and we'll have race 3. Start of the Jersey Shore 6. Mile of 16th on the turf. Rails out 36 feet. We'll check in with Paulie when we return. Stay with us.
They come on for the finish in the Pilgrim Stakes. Annapolis by a head.
It is Annapolis in front. It is Annapolis to win the Coolmore Turf Mile.
Thank you, Andy and Acacia. We sent them to Oceanport to make this sandcastle. You guys did a great job.
Let me tell you, back in my day, I was very good at the sandcastle moat. I've got technique.
The sandcastle moat.
Yes.
Can you give me some
Just
tips?
the
Because
moat.
it's
In the
incredibly
wall.
hard to reproduce this stuff with my children at the beach.
Well, your son, William, is a menace with the shovel and the pail.
He
I mean,
is, yeah.
he's coming in hot when it comes to the sandcastle, I think.
He's
Yeah.
bred to be a menace.
Race 3 as we head to Monmouth.
On the sire side.
Mile and 16th on the turf. Maiden special weight here. Fillies, mares 3 and up. Here's the one. Fruitful, first-time starter.
First-time starter that does not exactly have a screaming turf pedigree. The Dam won the not the Apple Blossom, the Fantasy. I was there.
She did.
Did run a 84 Beyer.
On the turf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
but
grass.
she was
She
a good
finished
dirt
fourth.
horse. She was a
Yep.
good dirt horse.
Yeah.
The one to beat, I'm surprised we're seeing 2-1 here, actually. Super Willy Woff, extreme outside post on Black Eyed Susan Day, was 3 wide the entire way around the racetrack. Paco Lopez back aboard.
She ran exceptionally well that afternoon, and then she had to duel in the stretch as well. She was just trying every step of the way. Nothing really went right for her, but all things considered, it was a monster effort.
Not sure how Mopo re-engaged. It looked like that race was over.
She should be even money, I think.
Restless Dreamer for Kelly Breen went by.
I mean, she's consistent, but she's consistently kind of losing, but obviously can win.
Thank you, ma'am.
Did not run a step first time out. Does have pedigree to improve as she gets older.
Chad Brown, second-time starter, went by.
Maybe that horse stinks. Didn't get bet first time out. Has a big pedigree. I would prefer this one over the other Chad Brown horse, though.
We're up to the 7 now, footnote.
Would have to improve off the race in California.
Another Chad Brown high note.
There's not a ton of turf pedigree, but this is out of a Giants Causeway mare, and this filly's half to Verrazano, who we think of as a good dirt horse. Let's not forget he was Group 1 placed on the turf later in his
Queen
career.
Anne, right?
Yeah.
And keep the dream alive, 14-1 outside.
It's an interesting switch. Bill Mott to Todd Beatty, who does win some races. Trainer switches on the turf. He's 0 for 1, but he did finish second at 4-1. I don't love the race this horse is coming out of at Gulfstream, though.
Agreed.
Post time coming up. Paul Aduca learning what life is like without me in Oceanport after he got to spend the weekend with me, Paulie.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, yesterday it went from 90 degrees to pouring rain pretty much all of the night to about 95 degrees right now. It is hot out here. So if you see some horses on the racetrack that are a little wet, that I think it's just because of the weather and the humidity here. But I think we got a good little race here on the turf. This will start your Jersey City pick 6 here from the Jersey Shore. It's $13,000 carryover, the 20-cent variety. Let's start with the 2, Super Willowa, the filly by Hardspun, who ran a bang-up race last time out. Second time getting on turf, with Paco aboard. Now, Paco had been riding the 3 in here, Restless Dreamer, for Kelly Breen, and now he jumps to the Trombetta horse, who just ran giant last time, and if repeated, going to be really tough to beat here at 2-1. You know, I always looked at the fixed odds. It looks like this horse is going to stay at about 2-1 because a lot of money is coming in for the 8 in here. Now, the 8, there's 2 Chad Brown runners in here, and we'll talk about both of them, the 5 and the 8. I'll tell you what, the 5 looked tremendous on the racetrack. This is first-time Lasix, second-time starter. That's 30% in Chad Brown's book in both of those categories. And I'm kind of with Andy. I would probably prefer the 5 over the 8. The 8 is a big type of blocky horse. I mean, he's a big old sort. He was washing up a little bit, at least some kidney sweat, which you get in between the legs means usually the horse is a tiny bit nervous, but money is coming in on the 8. I could see that horse winning. But, you know, I stuck with the 2 here at 9-5. I'd probably be 2-5-8 in the Jersey 6. Gregor?
All right, Paulie, thanks. Yeah, you have a Chad Brown in the 5, whose dam was a grade 3 winner on the turf, and the second dam was multiple group placed on the grass.
Yeah, I think they're betting the 8 for the wrong reasons. They're betting the horse without a huge turf pedigree off its dirt races. Whereas the 5, listen, maybe Rescue Me stinks. A Chad Brown firster with a good pedigree went off at almost 20-1 in his debut at Saratoga. Not a good sign, but maybe it's just a horse that wasn't ready to run. And I think that's the more interesting horse, and I'd probably box 2-5 in here and take a shot.
But Chad Brown, for some reason, gets horses without a lot of turf pedigree to run on grass quite often.
But there is some. Like we said, I mean, half to Verrazano, who, yes, was a very good dirt horse, then moved to Aidan O'Brien in the final 3 starts of his career, second by 3/4 of a length in a Group 1 on the grass, you know, as well. And for what it's worth, I was in the paddock for this horse's last race, and I did write, has a turf hoof. So we'll see.
Yeah, but the thing...
But it's a question at a short price.
The thing about the 8 is you're betting this horse based on its dirt races and on a different surface. Now, obviously, he's pretty good on the dirt, and if he transfers that to turf, he's going to be tough to beat. But I'd rather take a small shot with the 5.
The 2 at 9-5, that was a big effort.
Yep.
Post 13 against, and it looked like put this winner away. And somehow it was amazing this horse re-rallied Mopo to beat this one, but ran a very good race. A repeat of that, it's going to take a big effort to beat this one, isn't it?
I think only the presence of 2 Chad Brown horses has kept this horse from being 4 to 5.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Matt Dinnerman with the call. Here's race 3 from Monmouth.
And Laroff, uneventful start. Restless Dreamer going to the lead. Thank You Ma'am was hard ridden out of the gate, but is not quick enough to get to the front here. Super Willowa has natural speed, and coming out of the chute, Super Willowa leads the way with Restless Dreamer. With 1 lap to go, they're together. Fruitful settles off the speed with stablemate Thank You Ma'am. Then comes High Note racing in the 5th spot with Rescue Me. Another gap of 2 to Footnote. Keep the Dream Alive second to last outside of her, and that leaves Autumn's Turn to trail the field as the 9 runners corner into the first turn run. Super Willowa allowed to stride clear a length and a half. Restless Dreamer is happy to track now. We'll let that front runner get away in his second. A length and 3/4 off the pace. Fruitful runs in third. Thank You Ma'am is 2 lengths off of her, already nickeled along with 5 furlongs to go. Then Rescue Me, High Note. They're side by side. Footnote and Keep the Dream Alive. They're together, and they're 3 clear of Autumn's Turn, who can only see backside with about a half mile to go. Super Willowa with no excuses on the lead as the ears prick. Does it well. The even money favorite, 3 parts of a length ahead. Restless Dreamer getting a little bit closer in the bridle second. Fruitful third inside. High Note getting closer. Advancing position pretty quickly here as the stablemate Rescue Me is completely given way. High Note into third with Fruitful, who's come under a hard ride. Keep the Dream Alive is next. 5 lengths behind, patiently ridden. The others have got to get going. At the top of the lane, Restless Dreamer and Super Willowa. They're side by side at the top of the lane. Super Willowa going well down on the inside. Restless Dreamer out to catch him. And Super Willowa, now the reins get shaken and explodes away from the competition. Super Willowa, this filly by Hard Spun, is putting on a show in the final furlong, and she's going to win by open lengths. Super Willowa, a dominant winner to kick off the Jersey Shore 6. Restless Dreamer holds second. Rescue Me re-rally after looking hopelessly beaten at the 3 ace pole, ran third. Fruitful and High Note were next.
Much better post position this time around, allowing Super Willowa and Paco Lopez to be more aggressive early, get that inside position, and go gate to wire.
She ultimately went up at even money occasion. She made even money look like an overlay.
Yes, she did. She should have been the heavy favorite in here. She ran like it as well. She'd had some solid efforts prior to that. It was a huge performance at Pimlico last time out, and I think the aggression we saw from Paco Lopez, he wasn't fooling around with her today, and she was much the best against this field.
2-3-5 finish. Back to New York. Late pick 5 starts in this 5th mile and an 1/8. 3-year-olds and up, New York breds in this allowance optional claiming field were Cut the Cord. The current favorite from the inside for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt, and Jose Lezcano will be aboard. That's what we'll see first here in the post parade.
I think you'll end up seeing him as the second choice in this race as the 1 and 2 separate in the late stages. And I think of the 2, even though I picked the 2, this one's more better maybe so far at mile and 1/8.
Mighty Atlas. Brad Cox first off the claim.
Still looking for a win at the distance, but has run well in his 2 efforts, though was well beaten by Cut the Cord the last time he tried the 9 furlongs.
Distance potentially a question for Dr. Kraft as well.
It is, but considering the tough field he was in last time in his first try at a mile and 1/8, he actually didn't run it badly.
Palace boss, Luis Rivera Jr.
In good form as zipped through his conditions. He faces his toughest task yet, though, after beating a soft field.
Barkley Tags Sagatoga left him behind.
Maybe he's like the wild card in here because he is finally getting back to the right surface.
Funny side connections there. And then My Last Mission, Jamie Ness.
He has some speed to the outside as well. I do think the distance is a bit of a question. And how does he stack up against what he's facing today?
And can he clear? Because he potentially is the fastest horse early, but with the 1 and 2 having enough speed to make his life difficult, that could be problematic.
Should be noted as well, just quickly, Greg, the 1 Cut the Cord. Jeremiah Engelhardt saying that he had planned to run in Belmont Stakes Week, but unfortunately he was one of the horses affected by that quarantine in the annex off the Oklahoma training track due to strangles, so not able to run. He's clear. He's coming in off those workouts up at Saratoga now.
And there he is, as still right now the 5-2 favorite. 6-time winner.
I mean, I think you're going to see the 1 and 2, even though they aren't substantially. The 4 is a similar price to them right now. When we get to post, we've still got about 4 minutes this race is run. You're going to see them end up being the real favorites. And I think the Cut the Cord has run the better race in a mile and 1/8. I picked Mighty Atlas simply because I think this horse is probably going to move forward for Brad Cox's barn, like so many horses do off the claim, and I'm wondering if that's Maggie's thinking as well.
Well, let's go to Maggie. Get her thoughts as she'll start with the favorite right now for Jeremiah Engelhart.
Yeah, and he's going to have to overcome the layoff, which is a question mark. Obviously, Acacia noting that he was ready to go 2 weeks ago, but still, it was going to be a layoff no matter what, as he's a horse that has always been high energy. So you see him, he's bouncing on his toes. He's been that way for the entire time, from the moment he stepped foot in the paddock till leading up to loading in the gate here. He is your true 9-furlong horse. So he's the one that I feel most confident about, and maybe another horse that I'll get to in a minute about the distance. He does look fit. He's gotten a little hot, but that's kind of him as well. So I think he's ready to go, and I totally get him at a short price, whereas, yes, Andy's correct. Number 2, Mighty Atlas, I think he looks better than he has in a long time. He is dappled head to toe. He came in with this air of confidence. I do think that 9 furlongs is stretching him a bit, but just because it appears as though he's doing so well, it feels as though this might be the time to strike at this 1 1/8. He's a bit smaller. He's not one that's ever really lengthened his frame much and doesn't have those long legs like the 1 and the 4, whom I'll get to right now, do. So I just feel as though he might win on, perceived the perceived way he's appearing and doing heading into this one. Number 4, Palace Boss. I know it's not easy for horses to run through these New York bred conditions, but I do think he is a true 2-turn, 9-furlong type of horse. He's huge, big, long, leggy, rangy type of runner, and it really looks as though he's coming to hand here for Horacio De Paz. I don't recommend him taking at a short price because I just don't like horses doing this. I feel as though this second level allowance is one of the tougher spots for them, facing horses who have been stakes placed in their career. But he does make a case for himself, at least upon appearances, and then left him behind. I think before that turf race, returning to New York bred company, Barclay Tagg had him entered in a turf race, and it came off, and he scratched him. He was entered for a tag that day, so I'm wondering if that's the reason he was scratched. But I do think he's more of a dirt horse. Ultimately, he looks like it. He's just one that I don't think he's quite as good as the 1 and 2 in here. And furthermore, he might be okay with a little less ground as well, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. The pick 5 approaching 200,000 here coming up. 3-1 on Cut the Cord right now.
The board is strange. I think you're going to see Mighty Atlas, who we said was going to be favored, probably get down maybe to 3-2, 7-5, and I can't believe the one's the same price as Palace Boss. And we didn't really talk about the 4 Palace Boss, and he is an improving horse, but he is in a completely different world than he was last time.
When you go through your conditions that quickly, it's almost a little bit of a negative, because each time you win, you have to go on and face the next level, the tougher company. Here he's facing this second level allowance group where you've got some horses with some serious backlash.
Seconds and thirds pay a lot of bills.
Yes.
Yes, they do. There's Dr. Kraft stepping in, 5-1. Okay, Cantermachi Barn. Yeah, as you said, sneaky good race at 1 1/8, even though his 5th beat more than 7 lengths. That was a good group he was facing. Chris Griffin with the call to start the late pick 5.
My Last Mission. Ruben Silvera. They go in. All set. And they're off. Step slow for Left Him Behind. The lead goes to Cut the Cord. Heart sent at the rail. Ensures a fast tempo. Cut the Cord sprinting towards that first turn, intent on getting the lead, and does. Cut the Cord is in front, is up by 1.5 lengths. Dr. Kraft is a stalking second. My Last Mission 3 wide in third. At the rail comes Mighty Atlas, who's now a shared 4th with tugging Palace Boss. Moves up in between horses right there in 5th, and Left Him Behind isn't too far behind, is the trailer, but only about 2.5. Now 3 off the lead. They work to the backstretch, and the leader is Cut the Cord. 23.46 for the opening quarter mile. Right there is Dr. Kraft towards the outside here for Rosario in second. 3 wide, that's My Last Mission. At the rail, it's a ground-saving journey for Mighty Atlas. Right there, down towards the inside, is in 4th. In between horses, still Palace Boss, tugging a little bit of Luis Rivera Jr., wants to move closer. Left Him Behind, can see them all, but isn't far off the lead. They went 47-4 for a half-mile time. Cut the Cord is in front. Here comes the challenge towards the outside, and it's going to be Palace Boss who found a seam, and now Palace Boss has split rivals and immediately pushes the button here on Dr. Kraft, and these three are sprinting into the turn together. Dr. Kraft has now put a neck in front. Palace Boss made that early move in between horses, is now trying to keep up here. They're trying to dispatch of Cut the Cord, who's an all-in third. My Last Mission's lost ground. Left him behind is trying to close in, and Mighty Atlas is now the trailer. They reach the top of the stretch. Palace Boss is fighting on. Cut the Cord is not going away. And 3 wide still, Dr. Kraft. These three across the racetrack in a final furlong. Dr. Kraft is trying to edge clear late. Cut the Cord still battles on towards the inside. Palace Boss is now back to third. It's Dr. Kraft who's got the lead. Cut the Cord just will not give in. Dr. Kraft, Cut the Cord. Dr. Kraft won it. Dr. Kraft over Cut the Cord. Then came Palace Boss. Left him behind in a photo with Mighty Atlas in 1 minute 49.42 seconds.
Dr. Kraft trying a mile and 8 for the first time in its career, his last 2 tries. And an incredibly tough group trying to do it for the first time last out. He's able to get the win here.
I think he's a good example of allowing your preconceived notions to get in the way of maybe handicapping, because if you just look at this horse's PPs, I think it's reasonable to say a horse that mostly doesn't like to win, 19 seconds and thirds, he ran the best figure he's ever run, going a mile and 8 for the first time last time, and even though none of us thought he wanted more distance, we thought he wanted less. It turns out maybe he really likes the distance.
He's also running against exceptionally competitive horses last time out as well in that commentator. And I mean, he's also not built like a horse that wants distance. He's a little bit more stout and compact. So I think you said it right. It's a good lesson. I kind of looked at him when handicapping and said, oh, he's not built like a 9-furlong horse. I'm not going to use him. But the more you go back and look at it, yeah, he actually ran okay in that commentator.
The best figure that he'd ever gotten, and he ran really well in here. They Cut the Cord also ran well, but this horse was wide the whole way, and he just ground out the win. It was a very good race between these two. Mighty Atlas was awful. I mean, you can't blame the distance for Mighty Atlas because he was never winning this race at any distance. But it's a nice performance by both of these. Dr. Kraft guts it out.
31.45 finish. Dr. Kraft just the 3rd win of his career. Yeah, 29 outings in his 2nd try at a mile and an 8th. He goes off 5-1. Rosario, another winner here. Going back-to-back for Ilkay Cantermachi. 5-1 start to the late pick 5. Prices when we come back on our FS2 coverage.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe.
She feels more than pretty. She feels fantastic.
It is all She Feels Pretty.
Yet another grade 1 for this magnificent daughter of Caraconte.
Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
(16-2), a big black colt. He's a horse that is built for speed. With Practical Joke, it really is a case of like father, like son.
It's domestic product kicking clear and opening up here in the stretch.
When he ran that speed figure of 106, we were under no illusions that we had a very exciting prospect on our hands.
Domestic product just in front. Domestic product.
When you see horses like that who are capable of replicating the success of their fathers, that have the look that Domestic Product does, it gives you great confidence.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Back with you on our Friday coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races, underway in the late pick 5 program, brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. Dr. Kraft, Yokai Cantermashi Barn, and back-to-back for the man aboard there, Joel Rosario, our winner's circle lead-in, brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton July Selected Horses of Racing Age sale to be held on July 8th in Lexington, Kentucky. Start considering your entries today. So Joel Rosario taking advantage with some big names not on the program here.
I think Joel's a big name, but you're right. Well,
of course, I didn't say he wasn't a big name.
Now, we don't know why Irad's not riding, because he was named the first and came off. But I wondered, I know that Pratt rode early, but they were all expected to ride at Penn National tonight. And they ended up moving those races again. And maybe that's why Irad's not riding today.
But Irad would have had them out likely on Mr. Papa Giorgio had he been here.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering if, but because he was only named in the first race, I don't know, where Flavian was named in later races. Regardless, Joel with 2 wins.
Man of the hour, standing by with Maggie.
He might be able to win the next one, too, as he's literally the man of the show today, Joel Rosario. And Joel winning here with Dr. Kraft. And question mark with the 9 furlongs, but he handled it beautifully, had him in a prominent position throughout.
Yeah, exactly. He did. He did really well, actually. You know, I put him in the race a little bit and looked like he was really gamely, you know. And the turn kind of come out a little bit, and then, you know, seeing he was enjoyed up there. And, yeah, he got it done going that far.
He did. He was gutsy to get it to get the win. Talk a little bit about your winner in the previous race, Mr. Papa Giorgio. He was a heavy favorite. You seemed really confident, but then when you kind of got down the stretch, you had to ask him a bit.
Yeah, I did. I mean, he looked like, you know, that horse that he go and then he kind of weighed a little bit on horses. That's why I kind of, you know, have the horse in front, kind of play with him a little bit, and then when I started to go, let it go and stay busy on him. He did. He responded really well, and yeah, thanks to the babe. That was very good.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks to the babe. Yeah. Does he call you babe?
Yeah, he does.
Who doesn't he call babe? That's what I want to know. Well, Joel, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Joel Rosario. I think he should just come up and host now, Greg.
He really can do it all. I'm sure he could easily step in here and do a better job than probably any of us.
Well, the bar's not very high, but
he is as cool, calm, collected a rider as there has probably ever been in this game. And of course, that year back in 2021, when he could do no wrong, he was just untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons he frustrates a lot of players, is there are times when you're thinking, what's Joel doing? To me, he can do no wrong, but I think part of it is because, like Acacia, we know Joel and know what a terrific guy he is. He's just, once you know him, it's impossible to get mad at him if he gives a bad ride.
That is very true. I feel like he's like an extended member of my family. You know, we always used to joke that he was really Christoph's favorite child, especially with some of the big rides that he gave and big horses over the years. But, you know, when he's right, I mean, he's probably the most instinctual rider that's on the grounds now. And he really can be so brilliant with sensing a horse and leaving enough when it counts in the stretch.
And he's been the perfect pairing for Farbridge, hasn't he?
He really has been. I mean, he handles that horse so beautifully. No matter tactically what he chooses to do with him, Andy, it seems like he always puts him in the right spot. And I really think that instinctual riding quality is exactly that, and it's on full display there.
How he was able to get him over to the rail in the first turn when he was 4 wide,
Brilliant
about
ride.
20 yards before the turn, was outright brilliant. That was, you know, too often we don't notice losing rides. And that ride, I think back to his ride on Practical Joke in the Kentucky Derby, we ran 5th, the horse who had no business at 1.25 miles. He gave him a tremendous ride and finished 5th, but he could never have done any better.
We're going to get back over to Monmouth. Race 4 is coming up next. 5,000 starter allowance sprint. 5.5 furlongs. And the 4 right now, I believe, favored. Base Abarrio, Paco Lopez for Jose Delgado. 5-time winner. There's the 4 moving through our screen.
I had it down to 2, 4, and 1 in this race as the horses that I would use. I kind of preferred the 2 cutting back in distance, but I'm a sucker for turnbacks.
The thing about the 4 Face Abarrio with the presence of Paco Lopez, and he's won twice on this horse at Monmouth as well. You know he's going to take some attention. Those are for some lower level races. It seems like he kind of runs to his competition. Not necessarily the winningest type, though.
And when he wins, he's in front. It's going to be hard to get the lead from the 1 here, Andy, isn't it?
Oh, I agree. I can't imagine that Christian Moraz is going to let that horse go off the claim for Jamie Ness. And you want to ride for Jamie Ness. I can't imagine he won't be aggressive. I agree. And I thought one of the things the 4 had going was that he could be in that good stalking position, hopefully. But he's not clearing the 1. I agree.
Field for the Goldwood. Coming up this weekend, 5.5 on the turf. Fillies and mares 3 and up. And Epona's Hope, the 8-5 morning line favorite. He gets a lot of good mounts, Paco Lopez.
Yeah, Epona's Hope. This filly has been on fire down in Florida. She moved to the TJ Service Barn last time out when coming up north. Typically, Eddie Plisa always stays down in Florida, but she ran some very fast races down. We were talking about some of these efforts with some horses that were coming up and were chasing her down in Florida and coming back here to New York. She was in tremendous form. She has a lot of speed. She finished 3rd in Grade 3 company last time out. We'll see what she can do back in to a field like this, but she's quick and she's been very good.
And Chad Brown or not, Rosie Jeeks. That was impressive off the bench to do what she did. Gonna have to step up, isn't she?
Yeah, she's gonna have to get faster if she's gonna win this race, don't you think, Acacia?
Absolutely. And she was impressive winning first time out when she had a lot of speed. Then she kind of, the wheels fell off a little bit, and then she was on the sidelines for quite some time. Only ran once in 2024. It was encouraging to see her come back in 2025, but she won that allowance. But yes, absolutely, especially on speed figures and especially with the class and the recency of the horse like Epona's Hope. But it's in there somewhere, and you wonder if there's some natural progression now that she is making the 2nd start for 4-year-old season, and good to see that she's at least staying on the racetrack.
I will say still, all things being equal, there's no chance you're getting 8-5
No.
in Epona's Hope.
Yeah.
She could be 3-5 in this
Yes.
race. I mean, from a speed figure standpoint, she towers
She
over
does.
the field.
Yeah, don't get too excited about that morning line as the horse is out on the track now for this 4th. Starts the pick 5 at the Jersey Shore, and here's the speedy Magical Warrior.
Got to come gunning out off the claim for Jamie Ness, who's 2 for 3 off the claim at Monmouth on the dirt sprints.
Wow.
Dan Ward Barn, Elusive Doro.
Cutting back in distance after actually running okay in a route race last time. It finished behind Face Barrio 2 back.
Lloyd at 9-2.
Yeah, I thought Lloyd was at best a pace player, but not good enough to win.
Besabario went by.
Horse that has won with Paco Lopez before, not a winning type, though. A lot of in-the-money finishes.
Former 10-time winner Hushin we saw.
Been around a long time, named for the great Mike Hushin.
Diamond Heist, Sammy Camacho, and Baltazar on the outside at 8-1.
I know Baltazar wasn't impossible if you wanted somebody else in a price, but I preferred others. I think the 2 at 6-1's an overlay. I'm interested to hear what Paul thinks.
Let's hear from him now, Paulie.
Yeah, Andy, I actually used 1-2-4 in this race in my Jersey 6. And, I chose the 1 barely over the 2. I just don't know how far back the 2 is going to be. And the reason why is the 1 looked tremendous on the racetrack. My goodness, not a turned hair at all, not a bead of sweat, and just looked the part here for Jamie Ness. Now, it's a guessing game with Paco, right? Because, he has the other speed here in the 4. So I think the 1 gets to the front end, and Paco has a tendency maybe to rate horses. Now, this horse has run into a nice horse, and he's in charge a couple times. The 4 has, Face Barrio. So maybe Paco lays off a little bit, but I do think the 1 is the horse to catch. That's where I'll land. I do think the 2 is very dangerous. If they do hook up in here, if Isaac Castillo can stick to the rail, I think he's the horse that will be launching late in here. It seems like Dan Ward horses have been running very well, at least the last 2 to 3 weeks, and it doesn't matter what distance, if they're stretching out or cutting back. And I thought the other horse in here that maybe had a shot was Diamond Heist. This is a trainer that reclaims this horse, and if you go back, has a couple races to go to from a bit off the pace that can win this at 8-1, let's be honest. So I do think the 1 and 4 of the horses now, the 2 might get the trip. I landed on the 1 tepidly over the 2 here in race number 4, Greg.
Paulie, thanks. A 6 on our screen. We skipped over this one in the post break, so Acacia, I'll let you talk more about Diamond Heist, who Paul gave an outside look to.
Yeah, he's having a nice warm-up out on the track now under Sammy Camacho. But this is first off the reclaim for Peter Sinafias, who, I always take a little bit of an extra look when trainers dip back in for a horse and he's in protected now. I do think there's a big class question in here, but he has some races on the go back if he can run back to those. But that's a big question. Was well beaten by Magical Warrior last time. But warming up very well.
Looks like he's feeling himself today. Yeah, 8-1 on Diamond Heist. But there's the 9-5 favorite, Face Barrio. And Paco Lopez, third off a short layoff. But again, those last couple victories, in fact, last 3 wins that show up on the page, he had the lead, gate to wire all 3 of them, basically.
And he's lost 5 races in a row. Now he's been a somewhat short price in a couple, 2 or 3 of them. Not a super short price. He can win. I just thought there was a lot of speed here, and I was kind of hoping that there'd be enough speed to help things fall apart for Elusive Dioro, who at 6-1 is interesting to me. And I'm looking at the fixed odds. He rates to go up, not down.
You do love a turn back.
I am a sucker for a turn back. They win. I mean,
they do.
I don't have a lot of handicapping angles per se, but that's one that works.
Yeah.
It's something that Steve Christa told me about a long, long time ago. And actually, he told me that Woody Stevens is the one who turned him on to turn backs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it, it makes perfect sense. They have a lot more foundation cutting back in distance, and sometimes horses that prefer sprinting, they kind of get run off their feet when going long, and they're able to get into the race a lot more when they cut back in distance.
No question about it. And who am I to argue with Woody Stevens?
Absolutely.
Much less Steve.
NowRedBets.com, where you can play all the action, get signed up, started, get that $200 deposit match sign-up bonus with the code MATCH200. So here we go, lining up for the first leg of the sequence. And there is the speedster, Christian Mirage. Jamie Ness off the claim. Let's see if he can wire this field from the inside. 2-1 second choice.
The brother of our good friend, Rajiv Mirage. He's been doing pretty well down at Gulfstream.
It's good to hear.
He has been.
I'm going to miss him at Saratoga.
I miss seeing Raj all the time. He's one of the more entertaining and enjoyable people to spend time with.
I'm going to miss you two going back and forth at each other on the set.
Well, one of the fun things about Rajiv is he never takes things personally. He's great fun. I mean, he and I have been friends a long, long time.
Still owes me a drink.
He paid all of us but you?
Yes.
We'll get to the bottom of that.
I'm going to tell him to send me the cash.
I know he's good for it.
Rajiv is, anyone that knows Rajiv, well, he is the life of the party.
Absolutely.
Christian on board the 1 here, Magical Warrior. Matt Dinnerman, here's the 4th.
2 back. Diamond Heist. Hand to the outside post, Baltazar. We're ready to go. Laroff. Face Barrio is off a little bit slowly, is trying to move forward. He likes to be on the lead, and here he comes, Face Barrio, to come up and contest the issue on the lead. Hushin is hard sent. Magical Warrior to the inside. Magical Warrior gets the jump. Face Barrio is going to find himself between horses, and Hushin, who continues to race 3 deep. Gap of 2 to Elusive Dioro, running in 4th. Diamond Heist to the outside. Lloyd and Baltazar trailing together. Baltazar now clearly at the back as they round the far turn. Very contentious tempo. And it's Hushin on the outside, neck in front. Magical Warrior sticking to him. And Face Barrio has retreated to 3rd, trying to get outside of horses at the quarter pole. Diamond Heist is joining him. Baltazar going to be caught deep in the swing off the turn. Lloyd is next with Elusive Dioro. They come off the turn. Magical Warrior scampers away. Magical Warrior putting away the gray Hushin, who's retreating now. Far outside is Diamond Heist. Furlong to go. Magical Warrior, Christian Mirage are well clear here from Diamond Heist. Baltazar into 3rd. Magical Warrior first off the claim by Jamie Ness. Wins it by a diminishing length and a quarter, but of course he hit the wire in time. Diamond Heist was 2nd. Baltazar.
Not the best of breaks for the speedy Magical Warrior. Wants to be in front. Does not matter in the end. He was much the best here.
Much the best here. Won a 3-horse speed duel and won fairly comfortably. Nice effort by him off the claim. 3 for 4 now off the claim in dirt sprints at Monmouth for Jamie Ness.
A nice effort from the horse that we talked about, Diamond Heist, who ran to his looks, finishing 2nd there.
I believe 10-1.
Yeah.
Gets 2nd in here. Sammy Camacho there. Magical Warrior, though, your winner. Short and sweet edition of America's Day at the Races. That is it for us. We're back with you tomorrow, 12:30 to 6:30. Our coverage split up. We start on FS1, 12:30 to 1:30. Then we swamp over to FS2 for the rest of the afternoon. So we hope to see you on Saturday. Enjoyed it. It was Mr. Papagiorgio back in race 4 to kick off the pick 6. Joel Rosario on board for the win at a very short price. And Joel back to back. Dr. Kraft apparently does like a mile and an eighth. And just his second try at the distance, the double for Joel. And tomorrow we'll get to see that spectacular mid division, the speedy, talented on the turf, friend of the devil. Can he remain perfect on the grass for Carlos Martin?
Horses step on the track here for today's 6th race. Race 6, 6 minutes away. Start of the late pick 4. Race 6 is next.
Hey everyone, trackside here. I'm Maggie Wolfendale as we have a very interesting 6th race here to kick off this late pick 4 maiden special weight going to 6 furlongs on the turf course, and there's so many different directions to go. And of course, the horse that caught my eye most in the paddock, and then I looked up at the board, well, he was your favorite, but they don't know where to land right now, and I can't believe they're landing on Discotheque, honestly, as the tepid favorite. But I'm interested in number 2 in here. That's Spiced Up for trainer Bill Mott, who his barn just doing excellent work. And this son of Quality Road, I was just joking with Leanna Williford, Bill's longtime assistant, about genetics and how forelocks from Quality Road have been passed down from that sire, as Spiced Up has a very long flowing one. But more importantly, with regards to this race, he also looks like he'll appreciate the switch to the turf. Now, there isn't much immediate pedigree, but if you go back a generation, the Dam, she's a 3/4 sister to Emollient, who is a Grade 1 winner on the turf. Now, she was better longer, but this guy, he's smaller, he's short coupled, but also very athletic. So I like the fact that he's coming back in a sprint here. He looks very dangerous in this spot. As we'll move on to a horse that is coming back off of a layoff. That's a big price. And Snare, I thought he ran okay in that debut race, kind of on the wide chase throughout. I didn't think he looked necessarily fit that day. He didn't run with Lasix either. Now he returns as a 3-year-old, getting the addition of that medication. And he's a horse that looks way more fit than what he did as a 2-year-old, coming back here as a 3-year-old, warming up beautifully. The only reservation I have about him is the distance. He does strike me as a horse that probably wants to go a little bit further than this and seems to get maybe slightly outfooted going the 6 furlongs on the turf, but at least getting back to the right surface and looks ready to go at a big price. Moving on to one who's had a lot of experience and sitting at 5-1 on the board currently is Quando, making his 14th career start, but he's only turf sprinted once before in his career, and it was actually a decent effort, finishing 3rd, beaten 2 3/4 lengths, and going back to about a year ago. Now, I can't say he necessarily looks like your proverbial turf sprinter. He's a bit tall and leggy, but this is the first time he's going to do it with blinkers on as well, as he reapplies those 3/4 French cut blinkers, and he has the races in his repertoire that could possibly win this. So don't discredit Quando, and really, you could also kind of treat him as a 2nd-time starter, if you will, or 4th-time starter on the turf. As we'll move on to one shipping up from Kentucky, that's number 8, Got Stripes. Always pay attention to anything that Cherie DeVoe sends out here in New York. But Got Stripes debut going a mile and a 16th, and he broke well, but then he was taken in hand by Jose Ortiz, and he was right behind the pace. Then down on the backside, it looked as though he got fairly headstrong, and it was like he kind of ran his race in the middle of that mile and 16th affair. So I kind of get the thinking in turning this horse back. Now, he's gotten a big warm-up out there. I just wish that he looked a bit more fit. He still looks as though he's going to benefit from a start just to really get tucked up overall. Now, we'll move on to some first-time starters, as Todd Pletcher, he'll send out 2 in here, and Benny the Waiter is dangerous getting back to the turf. But we'll discuss number 1, Hot Lead, son of Too Darn Hot, who's good with his turf sprinting progeny. The Dam, she was won a turf sprint, and 3 of the 4 siblings are winners, all from 5/8 out to a mile. So really kind of hitting that sweet spot here with the 6 furlongs, I would think, with this horse who looks fit. He sold for just under $270,000 at the Arcana Breeze Up sale in France. So they've had to wait a year to get him to the races. I just think there's maybe a little bit more development to do, just some strengthening overall, but he could be dangerous in this spot. As we'll also take a look at number 6 for Chad Brown, Noguchi, a son of Authentic, and I can't say I've been the biggest fan of the Authentic progeny, but down on the bottom side, the Dam won her first 3 races as a 2-year-old. They were sprinting on the dirt, and this horse is also a half to a Graded Stakes winner sprinting on the dirt by the name Following Sea. So there's a lot more dirt pedigree, but I see where Chad's going with this entry. First of all, he has a turf hoof. Secondly, he's just a bit weaker across his top line, and I just feel like horses, especially when they start their careers, they are horses that benefit from a surface that's a little bit firmer under their
Field loading, post time for today's 6th on the turf course. Snare goes in first. Hot lead. Private Flight hesitates briefly right in behind the gate. Red Miller goes in. Quando, Noguchi, Spiced Up, Discotheque, Discotheque to the outside, is in, all set. Benny the Waiter with speed right in between horses. Benny the Waiter out towards the front and Spiced Up towards the outside. Here comes Quando at the rail, is going to apply pressure, and these two hook up and they fly early. It's Quando with a head in front. Right there to the outside is Benny the Waiter, who's a close-up second. Just behind them comes Spiced Up, who's a well-settled third. To the outside of that rebel comes Discotheque, who's in fourth. As they work up the backstretch, Got Stripes is now in fifth. Behind them, Noguchi travels in pair with Private Flight out wider. Further back in the field is Snare. The two at the back, Red Miller with Hot Lead. 21.51 for the opening quarter mile. Quando is in front. Backing up quickly there was Benny the Waiter. Spiced Up moves towards the inside. Discotheque is all in, trying to rally on. Noguchi has some ground to make up as Quando is in front, but had to go fast. And Spiced Up is within range, and here comes Spiced Up to challenge the leader, Quando, who's still game. Quando not going away. Spiced Up, just a little green there, but now straightens up, and Spiced Up is sprinting away. Spiced Up is now up by a full length and a half, call it 2. Spiced Up will win this one nicely. Quando will hold second. Here comes Snare from out of it to finish third over Noguchi in 1 minute 7.43 seconds. Order finish. First, the 2 Spiced Up. Second, the 5 Quando. Third, the 3 Snare. And fourth, the 6 Noguchi. 2-5, 3-6 in race 6. Running time, 1 minute 7.43. Winner of today's 6th race, the 2 Spiced Up. He's a 3-year-old, bred in Kentucky by Quality Road out of Cardamom. Winning owner and breeder is Judd Mont. Winning trainer is Bill Mott. The winning jockey, Junior Alvarado. $1 exacta 2 5 $16.90. The double $32. Trifecta $71.37. Superfecta $667.50. Pick 3 $59 even. Running time 1 minute 7.43 seconds. Coming up, it's race 7. Late pick 3 time. Race 7 in 24 minutes. Benny the Waiter with speed right in between horses. Benny the Waiter out towards the front and Spiced Up towards the outside. Here comes Quando at the rail, is going to apply pressure, and these two hook up and they fly early. It's Quando with a head in front. Right there to the outside is Benny the Waiter, who's a close-up second. Just behind them comes Spiced Up, who's a well-settled third. To the outside of that rebel comes Discotheque, who's in fourth. As they work up the backstretch, Got Stripes is now in fifth. Behind them, Noguchi travels in pair with Private Flight out wider. Further back in the field is Snare. The 2 at the back, Red Miller with Hot Lead. 21.51 for the opening quarter mile. Quando is in front. Backing up quickly there was Benny the Waiter. Spiced Up moves towards the inside. Discotheque is all in, trying to rally on. Noguchi has some ground to make up as Quando is in front, but had to go fast. And Spiced Up is within range, and here comes Spiced Up to challenge the leader, Quando, who's still game. Quando not going away. Spiced Up, just a little green there, but now straightens up, and Spiced Up is sprinting away. Spiced Up is now up by a full length and a half, call it 2. Spiced Up will win this one nicely. Quando will hold second. Here comes Snare from out of it to finish third over Noguchi in 1 minute 7.43 seconds.
There's a big, bold, beautiful world waiting to be explored by you and your friends, of course. But not just any friends, the best of friends. The kind of friends who let you do you. Because in this world, it's positive vibes only. And when you get in the zone here, you stay a while. These aren't just good times, they're the best of times. And your time is now. So come explore. Resorts World.
Horse racing? Check. Weekly promotions? Got 'em. Huge payouts? You bet. With Naira Bets. Download the app today and bet on any track, anywhere, anytime with live HD horse races, betting tips and tutorials, expert picks, and more. You bet with Naira Bets. Join now for a new member bonus at NairaBets.com.
McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, proudly standing four-time champion New York sire Central Banker, sire of multiple stakes winner Bank Frenzy.
Now Bank Frenzy means business and he'll win the Haynesfield.
Also standing Salamini, sire of Grade 2 winner Winstock, and seven-time stake horse Doc Sullivan.
Doc Sullivan dominates the Mike Lee.
And Provocateur, the only Grade 1 son of Into Mischief standing in New York, half-brother to Wood Memorial winner Rodriguez. At McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, New York stallions that deliver.
Join America's Day at the Races for the special July 4th Racing Festival at Saratoga Racecourse. 4 days of great racing as a prelude to Saratoga's summer meet.
Action kicks off Thursday, July 3rd, 1 Eastern.
Greg Wolf with you here as we get set for the final three on this Friday card, and take a look at this field coming up. 3-year-old fillies, 7/8 of a mile. It is a starter optional claiming group. We have a very short price right now on a Linda Rice filly from down on the inside. Let's take a look at her to start things off. That is Work Away, who start number 2 took a huge leap forward. Debuted on a muddy sealed track and then gets a fast track and just dominated that group. Won by 9 3/4 lengths. 72 Beyer, improved 20 Beyer points, and was completely wrapped up late in an easy win. Keep in mind, it was a race taken off the grass, so not the strongest of fields. She was even money in that spot. But look, she took a big step forward in what she was able to do, and a repeat of that performance is going to make her tough. I'm not sure if she deserves to be 4 to 5, though, in this spot. Jose Lezcano will be back aboard. See if she, and there's potentially even more improvement to be had here. Lightly raced. This will be start number 3. It was impressive what she did, but I would like to see it again. And here, and speed, you know, is the question mark too. There's several that want to be forward in this race. She's one of several in here. Now, she set off the pace early in that debut, but now drawn to the inside. I wonder what Jose Lezcano is going to do with Work Away from that inside post, because she does have certainly tactical speed to use. Meanwhile, the 3 Feasible. She broke her maiden at Keeneland, start number 2, in a forward position, going 7/8 of a mile. They tried to stretch her out next start. Talking about the 3 for Jenna Antonucci. Just didn't fire at all. She was 50 to 1, obviously was an incredibly tough spot in start number 2. There she is. She's come back with a bullet drill. 4 furlong move, quickest of 34 in the morning, so maybe she can get back to a better performance here, because she just didn't show up in that second start. Ricardo Santana Jr., as mentioned, will be back aboard. And another one who could be forward in this spot. Interested to hear what Maggie has to say about how Feasible looks in here, daughter of Practical Joke. And then the 2, another cliche, she's really interesting. So first time out, she runs a figure as a 2-year-old in August at Saratoga that was as fast as what we just saw Work Away run as a 3-year-old. She just never got back to it. They obviously had big expectations from her because she won at first asking, and they put her in the Grade 1 Frizette against Scottish Lassie, who her Frizette made her potentially the best 2-year-old filly in the land. And, you know, Immersive wound up winning that award as champion 2-year-old filly, but she ran very good in defeat in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies as well. Then a couple of stakes races coming back at Tampa. Just hasn't shown that same type of talent, but bullet drill coming back on the work tab. Maybe can she get back to what she was in that debut as a 2-year-old filly? It'll be interesting to see. She went gate to wire and showed speed in that debut as well for Gary Contessa. Let's throw it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Thanks, Greg. And we'll look at the same 3 you did, as they feel like the main 3 and they're the inside 3. Beginning with your favorite, and that's number 1, Work Away. And she is a filly that is very long and elegant, and just a very effeminate type of build to her. And she's so nicely on the bridle, and kind of typical of Linda Rice horses. You see that vast improvement in their second start. Now, I don't think she beat anybody, but she beat them in the right way, winning by nearly 10 lengths, wrapped up. So obviously facing tougher horses here, but I think you can take that speed figure at face value. She makes a great impression here in the paddock. And furthermore, I know she debuted at the 7 furlongs and finishing 3rd. I think getting a little more ground is definitely well within her wheelhouse. As number 2, another cliche is that rare New York bred that's never run strictly against New York bred company. She comes back here off a bit of a layoff, and as Greg said, can she get back to some of that 2-year-old form that we saw from her early on the NYRA circuit? She is sharp here, so I know she hasn't necessarily shown that much speed in her recent efforts, but with the bullet drill and how keen she is here in the paddock, maybe she will be a bit more forwardly placed. She does look very fit and strong. Now, Feasible, I think, faced a world of better horses in that Velvet Vortex race, and even in her first start where she was behind Indy Bay, who would rattle off 3 wins in a row, including the Jersey Girl in her last. Saratoga undid this filly. She was so wound up in the paddock. They saddled her outside today. She's handled herself well. Big, strong type. Look for her to get back on track, as a post parade is coming up now.
Horses step on the track here for today's 7th race. Race 7, 6 minutes away. Today's 7th, start of the late pick 3. Race 7, 6 minutes. Approaching the gate for race 7. Runners loading. It's post time for today's 7th race. Workaway. Two out. That's funny. Julita to the outside. Julita goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed to the outside from Julita is on the front end with At the Rail Workaway joining this early leader. Right behind them comes Feasible, who's a close-up third, and At the Rail comes another Cliche. The early trailer, That's Funny. The leader is Workaway. At the Rail, holds that rail position. Big gap there for Feasible to work on through, and now Feasible joins the early fray, as in the two-path here is a clear second with towards the outside Julita in third. 22.70 for the opening quarter mile. The two trailers, another Cliche with That's Funny. They're chasing Workaway. The favorite is in front, is up by a half length. Less than 4 furlongs to travel. Julita is engaged again towards the outside as Reclaim second is on the move. Here comes Luis Rivera Jr. on Julita to the outside of the favorite Workaway. Workaway only with a nose in front. Julita means business now, makes it head and head as they're approaching a quarter mile left to go through a 44-4 half mile time. Feasible is back to third. Trying to close in is going to be That's Funny. The trailer is another Cliche. Workaway just keeps on going. And Workaway has dispatched of Julita in an instant. Look at Workaway back up by 4-5 lengths here. That's Funny is trying to close in. Same can be said for Feasible. A furlong left to go. Workaway is well out in front. Just holding that rail position. Has a 16th left to go. Has gone fast throughout. And Workaway wins this one impressively. Workaway wins it over Feasible. Then came That's Funny and Julita in 1 minute 22.95 seconds. Order finish. First the 1, Workaway. Second the 3, Feasible. Third the 5, That's Funny. Fourth the 7, Julita. 1:3:57. Running time 1 minute 22.95. 2 wins on the day, jockey Jose Lescano. The winner of today's 7th is the one Workaway. She's a 3-year-old, bred New York by Outwork, got a Miss Bodine. Winning owner is Ronald P. Stewart. Winning trainer is Linda Rice. The winning jockey Jose Lescano. Workaway, bred New York by Andy Bednell. Race official, exacta $5.30. The double, $11.90. Trifecta, $8.40. Superfecta, $27.25. And pick 3, $57.50. Pick 5, $614 even. And running time, 1 minute 22.95 seconds. Up next is race 8. Today's 8th, 26 minutes away. Race 8. Late double, 26 minutes. Speed to the outside from Julita is on the front end with At the Rail Workaway joining this early leader. Right behind them comes Feasible, who's a close-up third, and At the Rail comes another Cliche. The early trailer, That's Funny. The leader is Workaway. At the Rail holds that rail position. Big gap there for Feasible to work on through, and now Feasible joins the early fray, as in the 2-path here is a clear second with towards the outside Julita in third. 22.70 for the opening quarter mile. The 2 trailers, another Cliche with That's Funny. They're chasing Workaway. The favorite is in front, is up by a half length. Less than 4 furlongs to travel. Julita is engaged again towards the outside as Reclaim second is on the move. Here comes Luis Rivera Jr. on Julita to the outside of the favorite Workaway. Workaway only with a nose in front. Julita means business now, makes it head and head as they're approaching a quarter mile left to go through a 44-4 half mile time. Feasible is back to third. Trying to close in is going to be That's Funny. The trailer is another Cliche. Workaway just keeps on going. And Workaway has dispatched of Julita in an instant. Look at Workaway back up by 4, 5 lengths here. That's Funny is trying to close in. Same can be said for Feasible. A furlong left to go. Workaway is well out in front. Just holding that rail position. Has a 16th left to go. Has gone fast throughout. And Workaway wins this one impressively. Workaway wins it over Feasible. Then came That's Funny and Julita in 1 minute 22.95 seconds.
Join us at Saratoga Racecourse for the 5th annual New York Thoroughbred Aftercare Day. This special live race day features the Rick Violet Stakes, named after the pioneer in aftercare in New York, and celebrates both retired racehorses and the great organizations established in New York to support them. Bring the whole family. It's a day at Saratoga you don't want to miss. Free with paid admission. New York Thoroughbred Aftercare Day, Thursday, July 17th.
Bucaro, any day.
Book 'em Dano, Prince of Monaco in between. It's going to get very close. Book 'em Dano.
Any track.
결승선 끝까지 사전 사셈. 최고의 꿈, 최고의 꿈, 최고의 꿈.
Any surface.
And it's Queen Maxima in a one-horse race. She is absolutely brilliant. Queen Maxima.
Bucaro, a leading sire of stakes winners on every surface from coast to coast and around the globe. Standing in New York at Iron Horse Stallions.
Enhance your handicapping with AI Fastbacks, exclusively on NyraBets. Open your NyraBets app, click View Runner Details, and a stat-driven fact will appear for all U.S. thoroughbred racehorses. Download the NyraBets app to start using Fastbacks today.
I have 52,000 starts in my life. I've never seen one that could take as much as he did early and continue to improve.
And it is Godite.
He's strong, he's attractive.
And he's gonna win the hopeful.
He's extremely smooth and fluid.
Gunite is a tough customer here as they come on for the finish.
How sound he is.
Gunite got the jump.
Consistent mentally, physically.
He will defeat Elite Power in the Forgo.
Complete package.
Greg Wolf with you as we get set for the 8th here. Belmont at the Big A, mile and 3/8 on the grass. An allowance optional claiming field. Phillies and Mares 3 and up, and you see 1-5 favoritism on the board. Ali Mara for the Chad Brown barn, owned by First Row Partners. Joel Rosario having a big Friday afternoon. He's got a chance to add another one here on the overwhelming favorite in this spot. The blinkers will come off after the one-race experiment. There she is. She'll be hard to miss. The gray by the Gray Gatsby, who was a multiple Group 1 winner in some major races overseas. This one has been very good. The state's debut was actually a win at Tampa, coming over from Chantilly in France, from way out of it. Then was third against Fundamentally, first try against winners at Tampa this year, off a long time away. And then went to Keeneland, third beat a half length against Expensive Queen, who went to the Grade 1 gamely straight off of that for Brendan Walsh. Looked like she was pretty talented, although she finished fourth of just 7 in that field. And even Mystifying was second in theirs, who she was only a neck behind, who'd been a very close second to the talented Child of the Moon, stablemate here of Ali Mara. So this one looks like absolutely, as the board reflects, going to be very tough to deal with. And here, pedigree suggests too, is going to love this long distance as well. And you get the hot hand with Rosario. Meanwhile, the 4 Gold Lightning, Linda Rice, multiple stakes placed. 11:01 right now. Did win the debut on the grass at a mile and a 16th at Saratoga a couple of summers ago, back as a 2-year-old filly, and has shown some talent on the grass by Bolt Doro out of a Distorted Humor mare. Jose Lizcano will be aboard, and first 2 starts this year have actually been on dirt, formerly with Brad Cox, now with Linda Rice. Linda's going to put her back on the grass where this one has done the majority of her damage, and see if she can show some ability here going longer on the turf. Meanwhile, the 2, I thought the 2 interesting in here, just at a price maybe underneath. The win came on synthetic. This will be the State's debut coming up, by the way. State's, I should say, sorry, in France, won at a mile and a quarter on synthetic, impressively, but also has shown ability on grass. The Dam produced a winner at a mile and 3/4 on the turf at Newmarket, where that winner won by 5 lengths, and also a mile and 15/16. And then it produced another winner at a mile and a quarter on synthetic over in France. So there's pedigree to say going even longer is going to be better for Lena, who's a big number on the board, but a long time away. Haven't seen this one since May of 24 as we head downstairs to Maggie.
And we'll start with the horse who is taking all the money, and that is Ali Mara, number 5 in here for Chad Brown. Now, the blinkers coming off after they experimented with them last time at Keeneland, in which the visual gave you the impression that she hung a bit. But I'll say this, she did get a little headstrong whilst racing mid-pack down the backside, and I thought she ran on well late, even though she got bumped in between. And I wonder if, because she couldn't see the horses with those blinkers on and the bump, it kind of just intimidated her a little bit to kind of want to suck back out of there. So therefore they come right back off, and while she is not my physical prototype of what a horse should look like, she does have the physical attributes that say she will appreciate this stretch out in distance to a mile and 3/8 today. She's very long, she's a very flat-backed type, and just doesn't possess that much muscle mass behind the saddle. But again, that's kind of what you want in these distance races. I do prefer physically number 4 Gold Lightning, and I especially like her getting back to the turf. I've always thought she looks more like a turf horse, so it's been a while since she's been on it, since last fall here at Belmont at the Big A, but very fit here, 3rd off the layoff for Linda Rice. And I do think now that she is a 4-year-old, she's so much more mentally settled that she should be able to handle this distance. Now, the wild card, as Greg was talking about, is number 2, Lena. Pretty filly, not much size to her. She's going to need a start. That's a long time away from the races, and she just looks as though a little soft around the edges. They hit the track for today's 8th race. Good luck.
Horses, step on the track here for today's 8th race. Race 8, 7 minutes away. Started late double. Race 8, 7 minutes. Approaching the gate for race 8. Horses are at the gate. It's post time for race 8. Gold Lightning stepping forward. Alimara. Bobby Jean. And Burnt Again. Last to load to the outside. Burnt Again. Stepping forward. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Slow start for Lena, who's going to settle at the back end of the field. 3 across the course early, and Tour Jete, Eric Hensel, they now take command. Tour Jete is the lone leader as they work into the turn for the first time. Just behind them comes Bobby Jean, who's in the red cap as a well-settled second. Out wider 2 path, that's Burnt Again. Just in behind them, Gold Lightning. The 2 at the back, that's Alimara, with Lena, who's the trailer. A lone leader, it's Tour Jete. And Tour Jete doing it nicely. Out in the center of the course, doing it easily so far. Free running, 24 and 4 for that opening quarter mile for Tour Jete. About 4 lengths in front. Right there challenging for second now is Burnt Again, who's towards the outside of Bobby Jean as they try to move in closer, and the leader does back off the pace now. Tour Jete is trying to slow things down up front. Gold Lightning is just cruising right along, is in front of Alimara, who's going to be second to last. Now the trailer there as Lena picks up a spot, then they work into the turn. 50 and 4 for that half-mile time. Tour Jete caught that breather, is still alone. It's 2.5 in front, and here comes Burnt Again, is now moving in much, much closer. Bobby Jean still at the rail, patiently ridden here by Junior Alvarado. Then center of the course comes Gold Lightning, who's progressing. Alimara is still in 5th, and there's Alimara, who just gets back in front of Lena to relegate that one to the trailing position. 1:17 and 4 for 3/4 of a mile. Tour Jete now turning up the pressure up front. It's Tour Jete who starts to sprint a little bit for home as they approach a less than a half mile to go. Alimara is in behind rivals. Is right there is the trailer. Nowhere to go yet as they work into the turn now. Tour Jete is the leader. Burnt Again as a challenging second. Lena's going to get the first run. And here comes Lena, 3 wide. Bobby Jean is at the rail. Alimara, Joel Rosario, saving ground, still nowhere to go yet, is bottled up in behind rivals. Tour Jete sprints for home, and Tour Jete is still well clear. Tour Jete trying to run them off their feet. Alimara is now in the clear, finds a seam, but has a lot of ground to make up on that lone leader. Tour Jete is approaching a final 16th. Alimara is lifting late, but running out of time. Tour Jete, Eric Hensel, Tour Jete all the way. Tour Jete wins it over Oncoming Alimara. Then came Bobby Jean and Lena in 2 minutes 17.51 seconds. Order finish. First the 3, Torjate. Second the 5, Alimara. Third the 6, Bobby Jean. And fourth the 2, Lena. 3-5, 6-2 in race 8. Into the winner's circle, the winner of today's 8th race, number 3, Torjate. She's a 4-year-old, bred in New York by War Dancer out of Dancing Bay. Winning owners, Bella Cavello Stables. Winning trainers, William Morey. The winning jockey, Eric Hansel. Torjate, bred in New York by War Dancer LLC, Team Penny Racing, and Karam Stables. Race official, exacta 3-5, $27 even. The double, $27.25. Trifecta, $32.62. And superfecta, $339 even. The pick 3, $182.25. And the Grand Slam, $78.25. Running time, 2 minutes 17.51. Coming up, race 9, ninth and final on the program, 24 minutes away. Race 9, ninth and final, is next. Slow start for Lena, who's going to settle at the back end of the field. 3 across the course early, and Torjate, Eric Hensel, they now take command. Torjate is the lone leader as they work into the turn for the first time. Just behind them comes Bobby Jean, who's in the red cap as a well-settled second. Out wider 2 path, that's Burnt Again. Just in behind them, Gold Lightning, the 2 at the back, that's Alimara, with Lena, who's the trailer. A lone leader, it's Torjate. And Torjate doing it nicely out in the center of the course, doing it easily so far, free running. 24 and 4 for that opening quarter mile for Torjate. About 4 lengths in front. Right there challenging for second now is Burnt Again, who's towards the outside of Bobby Jean as they try to move in closer, and the leader does back off the pace now. Torjate is trying to slow things down up front. Gold Lightning is just cruising right along, is in front of Alimara, who's going to be second to last. Now the trailer there as Lena picks up a spot, and they work into the turn. 50 and 4 for that half-mile time. Torjate caught that breather, is still alone. It's 2.5 in front, and here comes Burnt Again, is now moving in much, much closer. Bobby Jean still at the rail, patiently ridden here by Junior Alvarado. Then center of the course comes Gold Lightning, who's progressing. Alimara is still in 5th, and there's Alimara, who just gets back in front of Lena to relegate that one to the trailing position. 117 and 4 for 3/4 of a mile. Torjate now turning up the pressure up front. It's Torjate who starts to sprint a little bit for home as they approach a less than a half mile to go. Alimara is in behind rivals. Is right there is the trailer. Nowhere to go yet as they work into the turn now. Torjate is the leader. Burnt Again as a challenging second. Lena's going to get the first run. And here comes Lena, 3 wide. Bobby Jean is at the rail. Alimara, Joel Rosario, saving ground, still nowhere to go yet, is bottled up in behind rivals. Torjate sprints for home, and Torjate is still well clear. Torjate trying to run them off their feet. Alimara is now in the clear, finds the seam, but has a lot of ground to make up on that lone leader. Torjate is approaching a final 16th. Alimara is lifting late, but running out of time. Torjate, Eric Hensel, Torjate all the way. Torjate wins it over oncoming Alimara. Then came Bobby Jean and Lena in 2 minutes 17.51 seconds.
Saratoga season passes are on sale now and include free admission to the special July 4th Racing Festival. Enjoy 4 additional days of Saratoga for the same price as last year. Secure your season pass for just about $2 per day at NYRA.com/Saratoga.
4 years now, Monmouth Park's 50-cent Win Early Pick 5 has helped players win early and often. This year, we're adding more. Monmouth Park's new Middle Pick 5 boasts a player-friendly 15% takeout and more opportunity to score. Start your day winning early. Continue to winning more. Play Monmouth Park's Win Early and Middle Pick 5s. First post 12:50 weekends, 2 p.m. Fridays.
A dynasty in motion, reshaping the sport's greatest tradition, channeling the legends of his line and surpassing them. 4 of the last 6 Derby winners carry his genes. The Golden Sun, a horse of the year. Another chapter written beneath those iconic spires. Derby dreams fulfilled for the titans of our industry. From authentic to sovereignty, a legacy both real and supreme. Into mischief.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
Greg Wolf back with you as we get set for the nightcap on this Friday card. 6 furlongs sprinting on the grass. Starter optional claiming race. And this one for fillies and mares 3 and up. And with that big upset, beating a heavy odds-on favorite in the last with that 9-to-1 shot Tour Jeté. The 3 and the 5 through 10, all those, any of those win. We have a pick 6 carryover into Saturday afternoon. Let's start here with a 4 Mendrell. This price is going to come down. This horse was 3-to-1 morning line. And the turf debut, it was a win. It was forward early, going 5 furlongs at Pimlico, 21-1, 44 to the half, and wound up winning in 55-4 as a short price favorite that day. But was impressive first time out. 80 buyer in the turf debut. Got a very good figure for it for Brittany Russell. Eric Cancel will be aboard this afternoon, so don't get too enticed here by 7-1. You will not get that price by the time the gates open in here, but a lot to like here. And that was against winners, by the way, but tackling obviously a tougher group coming in from Pimlico. That was 40,000 non-winners at 2 Life claiming. Meanwhile, just behind her that day was Lady Doro, the 6. A little shocking that she's 5-1 right now. But these odds are going to change. But she was very competitive, and that was off the bench for her, too. The problem was it would start number 9 of her career. She's had a lot of opportunities, but it was dropping in class for her. And off the bench, hadn't raced since October. That was a May 11th comeback. And she sat a stalking position and was getting to Mendrell, who she got up right to her, though, and I feel like Mendrell did kind of pull away. But she could improve off that, off the bench in here. Joel Rosario, again, hot hand today with a couple of wins. He'll be back aboard for a good barn and Michael Pino. So the rematch intriguing between these two, although Mendrell looks pretty tough. The question, I guess, that was at 5 furlongs, can she last the 6? And then I'm surprised to see this low a number on Liner Right from the rail. Obviously, 6-year-old mare, she always runs a good race, but she's 2 for 24 for a reason, because she comes from so far out of it. And it's just hard to try and make up that ground sprinting. Now, it was a brilliant performance last time out. Kendra Carmouche, this was such a great ride. Post 12, far outside post. She was basically second last early, and Kendrick did a great job to get over to the inside to the rail. If you're going to win from post 12, you're going to have to save ground, and he was able to do that. Just stay along the fence the entire way, and finally there was an opening and shot up there for the win. That was fun to watch. Can she do it again? She's obviously going to need a trip, but at least she's drawn inside here, and she's where she wants to be, saving ground from the get-go. And Junior Alvarado, funny how winning a Belmont and a Kentucky Derby just do wonderful things to your confidence, and he is riding tremendous right now. So love to see him on Liner Right. I love this 6-year-old mare, but again, she leaves herself a lot of work to do. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Thanks, Greg. And to kick things off here in the paddock, we'll start with the horse who, well, she's not your favorite, but she will be actually, she's a big price. I had to look up at the board. I don't have the luxury of looking at a board in a monitor like Greg does. But number 4, Mendrell, coming from Pimlico. Now look, both of these fillies filly and mare that come from Pimlico make really good impressions here in the paddock. But Mendrell, let's call a spade a spade. She's a 5-year-old that's only making her 5th career start. Now, she's a good-looking type, but you can see there's some conformation faults that I'm sure have gotten in the way throughout her career and prohibited her from making more frequent runs around the racetrack. Now, the short comment says unruly. The long comment says unruly behind the gate. Well, she hasn't turned a hair here in the Aqueduct paddock. She is about as calm and quiet as you could ask a horse to be. Physically, she looks great, is a robust type, and definitely looks like a turf sprinter. I know she won that debut with a gaudy figure first time out, going way back when to 2023 at Hawthorne, but I think she makes a good deal of sense given her last race. She did take a while to switch leads, but when she did and she finally switched to that right outside lead, she did level off and kind of seal the deal in what was a game effort. Moving on to some horses that maybe have question marks when it comes to the surface. That does include number 3 in here. That is Delightful Flame for Dave Duggan. I said in this filly's second start when she was meant to run on the turf that she looks more turf meant. So she's finally getting to do it here. She does have a long layoff to overcome, but it looks as though Dave has her really as fit as you could ask her to be. I mean, she's well defined, she's well muscled here, and that's par for the course for the Duggan barn. You can see over the past couple years he's been hitting and batting at a high percentage, but just really slack pasterns, really flat foot to her as well. This is what she's meant to do. Moving on to number 5, Sita Cat. Look, the pedigree says turf, but Tony Dutrow got her to win and run well in another effort too, sprinting on the dirt. Gary Siaka picks her up. I know it was a shake that day, but immediately switches her back to the turf, and this is what, at least physically, she looks as though is what she's meant for, and her pedigree would say the same. So an interesting proposition here. Obviously, she's going to have to get a bit better, but when she was running on the turf, it was either going 5/8 at Gulfstream or a mile at Gulfstream, and she's obviously not quick enough for the 5/8, but I don't think she wants to go that far. I don't think she wants to go 2 turns, so maybe the 6 furlongs hits her squarely between the eyes. Moving on to number 10, La Grotte. She's switching back to the turf. Now, she's been on it twice in her career. One was her debut in what was a salty maiden special weight up in Saratoga as a 2-year-old, and the other time was against the boys at Monmouth, in which she was a good second, just wired by the winner that day. She does look as though turf is very much in her wheelhouse. I wish this was Belmont Park where we can run 7/8, because I think she'd really be effective going that type of distance. But she's going to have to try the 6 here, but off the claim, and Ray picked her up for a bargain basement price of $16,000. She looks phenomenal. One of the best times I've ever seen this filly appear. She's carrying her weight and conditioning well, which is usually my main fault against her. I think she's interesting at a price from that outside post position. 6 minutes to go here. Make sure you catch us here tomorrow for a great card, 11 races. Best of luck here in the last.
Horses step on the track here for today's 9th race. Race 9, 5 minutes away. The 9th and final in 5 minutes. Horses stepping on the turf course. Approaching. And now at the gate, it's post time for race 9, 9th and final on the program. Live racing does resume right back here tomorrow. A Saturday afternoon. First post time 1:10. 11 races on the Saturday afternoon program. Make plans to join us right back here tomorrow for Belmont at the Big A. Post time here for race 9. Delightful Flame going in. Line of rights in the gate. Rider off Mendrell. Mendrell now goes in. Eric Cancel on Mendrell. Bam's Bliss Kiss. Dashing Della. Cedar Cat. Last to load to the outside, Le Grat. Still working there with Dashing Della. Dashing Della's in. Le Grat. All set. And they're off. Bam's Bliss Kiss broke right out on top. Plenty of company here towards the inside from Mendrell. Also, Delightful Flame is at the rail. These three hook up early. Dashing Della wants to go. Jose Gomez is going to settle right in behind that leading group out in the center of the course. Then they're tightly bunched here at the rail. Moving forward is Quick Power Nap, who's joined to the outside here from Lady Doro. Splits rivals and now gets in front of Quick Power Nap, and right there as well as Cedar Cat. Very tightly bunched, 21 and 4. Opening quarter mile towards the back end of the field is Broadway Lights. Then comes Le Grat and the trailer, Line of Right. At the rail, Delightful Flame has worked to the front and Mendrell is towards the outside. These two are 1-2, and they move quickly. Settling right in behind them is Lady Doro. Green Cap has some run, is in third. Sees the leading duo in front as they get set to turn for home, and the leader is Delightful Flame, the long shot. Mendrell is right there, still challenging from second. Cut loose is Lady Doro, Joel Rosario. It's Delightful Flame who's still ahead in front. Mendrell just won't go away, keeps battling back towards the outside. Mendrell, Delightful Flame. These two still go at it inside the final 16th. Mendrell to the outside. Delightful Flame. It's going to be a tight finish. Photo. Head bob either way. Delightful Flame to the inside. Mendrell. Then Lady Doro. Another photo for fourth. In 1 minute 7.15 seconds. Photo finish in race 9. Hold all tickets until order finish is posted from today's night. Winner posted, the 4, Mendrell. Second, the 3, Delightful Flame. Third, the 6, Lady Doro. Fourth, the 2, Lina Wright. 4-3, 6-2 in race 9. Running time 1 minute 7.15. Into the winner's circle, the winner of today's 9th race, the 4, Mendrell. She's a 5-year-old, bred in Kentucky by Blame out of custody. Winning owners, Dub, Team Henley, Madigan Stables LLC, Nix Caruso. Winning trainer is Brittany Russell, the winning jockey Eric Hensel. Stand by for prices. Eric Hensel with a riding double on the afternoon. Race official. Exact to $21.80, the double $55, trifecta $36, superfecta $205 even. Pick 3, $85. Pick 4, $210.50. Pick 5, $2,243.75. Pick 6 of 5 out of 6 returns $101.50. 6 of 6, $12,293 even. Final running time in race 9, 1 minute 7.15 seconds. That will conclude live racing action here for a Friday. Back here tomorrow, first post 110. 11 races on tomorrow's Saturday afternoon program. Thanks again for joining us. Simulcast does continue. Thanks to the team, and we'll see you tomorrow for more live racing action with the New York Racing Association and live racing here, Belmont, at the Big A. Good night. And they're off. Bam's Bliss Kiss broke right out on top. Plenty of company here towards the inside from Mendrell. Also, Delightful Flame is at the rail. These 3 hook up early. Dashing Della wants to go. Jose Gomez is going to settle right in behind that leading group out in the center of the course. Then they're tightly bunched here at the rail. Moving forward is Quick Power Nap, who's joined to the outside here from Lady Doro. Splits rivals and now gets in front of Quick Power Nap, and right there as well as Cedar Cat. Very tightly bunched, 21 and 4. Opening quarter mile towards the back end of the field is Broadway Lights. Then comes La Grotte and the trailer, Lina Wright. At the rail, Delightful Flame has worked to the front and Mendrell is towards the outside. These 2 are 1-2 and they move quickly. Settling right in behind them is Lady Doro. Green Cap has some run, is in third. Sees the leading duo in front as they get set to turn for home, and the leader is Delightful Flame, the long shot. Mendrell is right there, still challenging from second. Cut loose is Lady Doro, Joel Rosario. It's Delightful Flame who's still ahead in front. Mendrell just won't go away, keeps battling back towards the outside. Mendrell, Delightful Flame. These 2 still go at it inside the final 16th. Mendrell to the outside. Delightful Flame. It's going to be a tight finish. Photo. Head bob either way. Delightful Flame to the inside. Mendrell. Then Lady Doro. Another photo for 4th. In 1 minute 7.15 seconds.